Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Coulter.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer. Chairman Bosley.
Present.
8 present. You have a quorum.
All right. Well, we have Board Bill 135, but I believe you have a committee substitute. What we'll do, we'll accept Board Bill 135 substitute, because 135 is already before us, so I'll entertain a motion. Somebody needs to entertain a motion to put Board Bill 135 in the committee substitute.
I make a motion to do what you just said.
Yeah, very good, Chris.
Alderman Conway. Alderman Ortman.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderman French. Alderman Carter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Coulter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Chairman Bosley.
Aye.
8 I vote.
Okay. Board Bill 135, the committee substitute is now before us. Alderwoman Tyus.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I have this has been our working map that I have to go along with Board Bill 135. What this is this is a partial vacation of an alley. We were trying to get the whole thing vacated, but it was we have a couple of problems. So instead of vacating the whole alley at this time, actually, if you look on your map, you'll see something that says church, and then I kind of colored in pink. What we're gonna try to vacate is the alley that goes south from where it says 4918, and that's that first pink color, and all the way up to the highway. We're gonna vacate that portion of it right now, and that is because the people who want to put a service station and a strip mall, and here's the service station strip mall here, and it would be between Bercher and Lillian on Union, fronting Lillian, fronting Union. Actually, I was not even in support of this at first, because I'm not a big fan of a lot of gas stations, but Mr. Saeed, who started in the 20th Ward at Natural Bridge and Kings Highway, at Natural Bridge and Union, has always kept his word at what he, and when he first started out, I was the first project he did, and I made him spend an extra $250,000 to build a really nice gas station. He's been very successful. So he came back to me, I didn't just want a gas station. There's one right across the street. It's over in the, it's called the Mark Twain area, but it abuts the, what's the other name?
Park West.
Walnut Park West.
East, I'm
East,
sorry.
rather. And so it's been very hard to get people to see that as an area that you could do development. So I agreed to the gas station if he would also do a strip mall. And in order to do a strip mall, I requested that he buy up every piece of property between Lillian and Bercher on both Union and Geraldine, because I don't believe that you should put gas stations up against residential properties, okay? Because they become an attractive nuisance. They bring a lot of traffic. It changes the neighborhood. And so when you look at this map, the only properties he has not purchased are the ones that are in pink. The church, he has not. The church has agreed to sell that property because there's the primary church is across the street. This was their original church property, and they have classes, but we've already found them some other property, so they've agreed to sell. So the only property he has not bought in that entire block, and he bought a lot of LRA properties in which he's tearing them down, they were burnt up, or they were abandoned, is he's not bought 4918, which has been my problem property, and they actually, the owners live in Australia, and we may have to blight that with them in a domain. And then down here at the end, we don't really have to have these properties to do what we want to do. He just wants to clean up the entire block. We met with the citizens on many occasions. The church is in full support of it. But so that he can get started with the gas station and car wash part, which would be this part right here. That's why he needs to reroute the alley and close that part of it. And then when we make a decision what we're going to do with 4918, he would be able to close all the alley right down here to 4964, and that's Salama's Market. We tried to get him to go in and be part of it, but Mr. Salama is an interesting person. That's how I'm going to be kind and say that he is a nuisance in every part of my community. Okay, and everybody that I talk to, that you can talk to the 8th Ward, the 6th Ward, anybody that has a Salama, with perhaps the 5th Ward not being the only one, he's a nuisance. And so he's angry with me about something he wants to do on Kings Highway, and my neighborhood continues to fight him. So he refused. We offered him to be part of the deal so we could just clean that up. So he refused. So we're not looking to be able to purchase his property, but he will be put out of business once it's open, because this is going to be something really nice. We're actually trying to look for a sit-down restaurant or something to be over here. So he's putting in a lot of money. He spent, about $500,000 to buy these properties. The properties that we bought were marginal, vacant. They were valued at $10,000 and $5,000. So he paid people between $40,000 and $75,000, $80,000, $90,000. So they are all very happy. They made more money than they would have. And I wouldn't proceed with the project until he had all but a few parcels purchased, because I didn't want it to be that I told the neighborhood something and it didn't happen. And so I'm before you now because he has purchased everything except for that is in pink. And I'm asking for a vacation of part of really it's a vacation and a rerouting of the alley.
Are there any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman from the floor.
Sharon, where would the alley turn out, into Geraldine or into Union?
It would turn out into Union. That's where you said reroute. That's Union right there where you see reroute.
So this is where the church is?
No, the church is next to it. This is the first pink, is the 4918. That's my problem property. They're mad at me because when I got in, I started sending them letters. They were selling drugs there. So they're punishing me by not being part of the project. They said they're just gonna sit there.
So we're gonna run over and then we're gonna come out the alley. That's
So
be
we're
the
just gonna
alley.
put another alley right there so they can get in and out of their property. But ultimately, I will bring, it's not an owner occupied. I told them I will blight it with eminent domain. I don't like that. I don't like that word, but I have used it only in very limited appropriate things, and I would come back if they do not work with us. They still are problem properties. They hang out on the front, they drink, but just to try to give them all of their due process, we're rerouting the alley. If they weren't there, we could actually put the alley back here, because he has everything else. The church has already signed an agreement that they didn't mind him closing the alley because they have access to the front to
Church
get in.
gonna stay?
The church is across the street. There's a brand new church that's right across the street. Emmanuel, he's working with me. Actually, so that was their first original church. We found them some land on Claxton. So
isn't this open?
that's their educational building.
Okay, so
They're-
Bishop Whittier.
Yes.
Okay.
We found them some land right behind them on Claxton.
Okay.
And so we're giving them the LRA property on Claxton. And so they're gonna stay open only long enough until they can start, they're gonna build their educational building on their parking. Then they're gonna
Okay.
put their parking on Claxton. So they are happy because that puts them all together. We actually tried to buy, there was another piece of property that former Alderwoman Irene Smith,
With a barbecue.
But that
area.
white building? I'm sorry.
so, yes, so she was not cooperative. So we just found another way to do it.
Okay, so what about the three pieces behind Salama?
We don't really need them.
Are they negative about it?
The one that's nearest to where the LRA property is wanting to sell. These two don't want to sell. They want to make their property commercial. We don't have a problem with that. Okay.
Are
One
there
guy, he doesn't
homes
live.
right there?
No, nobody lives in any of them.
And they're vacant
They're
buildings or
rental.
lots?
This one nobody lives in. This one is rental. I'm sorry, and this is rental. But this one that is rental, but the person who owns it lives across the street.
Okay, on Geraldine.
Right, and so they're staying. In fact, one of the properties that we bought, he's going to buy LRA property across the street and stay. But mostly on Geraldine, it will be berms and trees to make
So
sure.
you got this whole stretch from that pink all the way down to Bircher.
Yeah, Bircher is right here because that's the highway right there. So that's
Yeah,
Bircher.
Bircher's.
Right, that's Mark Twain Express. That's the highway. They tore up that's where they cut into that neighborhood. Right, but we have everything else all the way down to Bircher.
So this Bircher right here?
That's Bircher right there.
So what are these properties?
That used to be properties. That's the highway now. That's when they put 70, they put it right through that neighborhood. So that
Microfilm that old, huh?
yeah, I guess so.
Wow. Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Alderman Ortman.
No, good job.
Okay, more, who you just got through. Alderman French, you got any questions?
French?
They hang out so much together.
That's
They
all
hang out
right.
together so
That's
much.
all right. My mother calls
you
me
can
my
holler
sister
different.
all the
Oh, yeah, all the
time.
time.
And then when I say my name is Sharon, my sister's name is Sandra, she'll say, you know who I'm talking to.
You know who I mean.
That's right.
You gotta tweet that.
questions?
Let's tweet it that.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
You're moving to pass board, that put 135 committee substitute before us?
Previous roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
That
now
was-
135
That
is
was just
before us
for-
now. Now, we wanna move to pass 135, the committee substitute
Right.
that one.
Right. Oh, I make a move that we pass Board Bill 135, committee substitute.
Previous roll.
Okay, refer.
This is
135
good.
is up.
Hey, I hate this Salama lady.
Well,
So,
Bill
are you gonna make him
136?
fix it up? Is he?
I'm just, when
Well, I know
we,
you can't make
when-
him fix it up.
Mr. Chairman, can I answer a question that the Alderman had?
Certainly.
What we're gonna do is just make this so nice. Sometimes you just kill them with kindness. Nobody will wanna go there, okay? So I'm just not gonna, Mr. Slama has offered to, bribe me and everything else. I actually have been to the feds. I went over to the feds on Mr. Slama. So, and told everything he told me about who he bribed. So I'm just giving everybody, telling you, if you try to bribe me, I will turn you in, okay?
Amen.
So,
Amen.
I turned him into the feds, okay? So me and Mr.
Amen.
Slama have no, and it's not just me he's tried to bribe. I actually have names of other people he tried to bribe, including police commissioners and people who worked in the mayor's office. They didn't know how many people I know, okay? So, I'm just not gonna bother with him. I'm not gonna do anything to him. Let the neighborhood, if they wanna go into that little place, then they
What kind
can.
of place is it?
It's a, so, it's
It's a mix of things.
it's supposed to be a little grocery store, confectionery.
I have 41 of the same store.
And so they got, he sells cigarettes. I don't know why, how he stays in business. He illegally sells cigarettes to people. He got a 50,000 signs in the front.
Yeah, I
you
got
know,
a discount cigarette.
he sells, he's only have, I think, a beer license, so he doesn't have full liquor. But it was the only thing in town. There was nothing else to offer people, so that was what they had to go to.
And I hate to say it, he serve a great hamburger.
Out of there?
I can't eat it no
Is it
more
food
because
now?
Sharon don't, I can't go in there. I better not get
I
caught.
bet
I
you
let
You
them,
better not get
it's my
caught
fault.
for
I
that.
let them go at Euclid and St. Louis Avenue years ago when I first got in. It was the biggest political mistake. Everybody told me not to, but they told me not to because he was Arab, and I don't do my business
Right.
based on Arab. I do my business based on trying to give people a chance. So I was trying to be a good alderperson. He has not been a good citizen.
Not been a good card.
That we've had murders at that spot. He should have been closed a long time ago. It's only within some political clout within the city that he's open. He should be closed.
You're gonna starve him to death.
Well, good luck. Now, are any of those stores,
Is that it?
does he have anybody signed up for any of that other?
Sharon.
Call from 136.
Okay. Mr.
Oh, we got another one.
Pass 135 out.
Oh, I didn't know we had another one.
Yes. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, Board Bill 136 is a board bill to honorarily designate the 33 through the 3,500 blocks of Shreve. You don't have a petition before you, and it's gonna be changed from, Shreve honorarily to Gilbert Wade Grandberry Avenue. And there's no petition because there are no houses. If you look at Natural Bridge, right where Wade Funeral Home is on that corner, and then you go down to Ashland, it's the park, and there are no houses that face it. So there's nothing. There was no petition to gain, and I represent all but a small portion. And the
I have the
alderman,
rest.
it has just the side of the street, and I had spoke to him, and he didn't have a problem with it.
So moved.
Second.
Previous,
No objection.
no objection, but nobody requested.
Previous roll.
Huh?
Previous roll.
Okay.
I'll do it for you.
Okay, if there are no objections,
136.
136 is out.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Mr.
You
And thank you,
Wade
committee
Grandberry.
members. I was scared nobody was going to, I really do
Oh,
appreciate
of
it.
course we
No,
do.
I gotta come for yours.
Well, it's gonna help your ward, okay? And it will
nice,
help when you
yeah.
get, see, that's what Greg got.
See, we could spur on.
Whenever I get something like that, and I try to do it where it can then make the next ward get something, cause it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense, okay?
Everything
Go further down. You.